Alright, guys and gals. When I was explaining to everybody earlier about how a certain woman I knew but her. You know she knew it. You know, of all the things that I've done, the way I lived my life, I seriously did not know that I was living my life wrongly. That's why it turned out the way I did. You know, I'll always be sorry for that. You know, people that people that are evil. People that are evil. And people who Jesus wills to be evil. Wills to be good for a reason. People that tell other people that they should have been killed off when they were kids, like small kids or adolescent kids, were always evil. And people that say that we're your family, that are your family, they say, oh, hey, we care about you. In all reality, they don't. They never did. My family was always bad. And, I got brainwashed. Saying that they weren't bad and this and that and other. Me facing my reality. Me being on my deathbed and stuff like that. And again, did I do it to myself? Yeah, I did. That's what I get for not taking care of business and not doing what I had to do for my life. And not doing what I had to do for other people. I just wish that I just wish that I would have took care of what I had to take care of. You know, I'll always be sorry for what I did in my life, and I'll always be sorry for how I lived my life, and I didn't realize I was living wrongly. You know, I can't get better. I can't go back and correct myself on how I was living. I cannot believe that I did those things. I'm sorry that I gave up. You know, growing up and, you know, certain people that I thought was friends and they never were. They never were. You know, and certain individuals that I knew. That I thought were family were never family. And they never were. You know, ever since I was small, I was always by myself. Now I got used to it, and see, I thought it was okay to be by myself, and it never, and it never was. And again, I'll always be sorry for how I turned out. I hate this me. The reason why my relationships never worked out was because I could never love myself, and that's the reason why I turned out the way I did. But to the certain individuals that always wanted to see me dead, always tried getting me to die. Just to take what the hell they wanted from me, and this and that and other. You were never forgiven to begin with. And you're never gonna be. Ever. That's the reason why I always hated this world. I never wanted to be part of it. Never. a damn person down here except for 2. Maybe 3 or 4. Other than that, I didn't. But I am ready to go out of this world. And like I said, I'm sorry for everything. Goodbye.